We're going to look at some a Google spreadsheet and how to turn a Google spreadsheet into a chart and how to do some of the functions within the spreadsheet. So this is some data that one of my classes has. We're doing some growing outside and in the greenhouse. So I've got one what I want to be the X and Y axis. You can see those up here. What will be in the graph. And I've got the data points. So tomato 1 on March 21st was 29 centimeters. Zucchini 1 on March 27th was 25 centimeters. So the first thing, if I wanted to predict what's going to happen in the future, I can kind of look at these patterns. So from 29 to 30 is 1. So the next one I would kind of predict that this one would be 31 if it's going to stay with this pattern. The difference between 34 and 38 is going to be 4. So 4 plus 38 would be 42. I could keep on going down, or undo that, Control Z, or I can highlight this, pull this little box down, and it will predict. You see now, because it's +1, it'll add 1 to each box. Or even cooler, I can highlight all of these and bring it down. And so it added 1s to every time is 1 to this one, adds 4 to this one, it adds 4 to this one, so it follows the pattern. So that's an easy way that you can kind of predict things. And if you had a list, you just wanted to, you had a list of 1, 2, 3, you could continue that list, highlight all of them, and continue that list, that pattern all the way down. So that's one thing you can do. Another thing you can do is add, and I have no reason to do this now, but if I wanted to add, I could highlight all these, come up to the functions little button. It looks like a weird E or a backwards 3. And I want to do a sum. You can do other things. There's a lot of other things, but most of the time you're doing a sum or an average. Click sum, and it's going to take everything from B3, which is what I had highlighted, to J3. Click enter, and so it's going to add all of those up. If I wanted to find the average, I could do the same thing. Go to functions, and it would find the average. So those are just 2 functions that you can very quickly do with spreadsheets. Another thing that we did in class is I'm going to go ahead and highlight all. I'm going to highlight from A1 to J20. Click insert, click chart, and it typically suggests the chart that you want. For some reason, this data type is not. I know that I want to make it into a line graph. So I'm going to turn it into a line graph. If you can change all these. If you want curved lines instead of straight lines with multiple points of data, you may want it to curve. But I'm going to go straight lines, click insert, and with just these 2 sets of data, you can see that I'm starting to see a pattern. Now this one, for some reason, actually seems to be shrinking. Let's go ahead and do that other function to predict something, what it might be doing in the next couple weeks. So I see my graph changed. If I want to continue with this data and predictions, I can add it to the future. Let's say after this, continue with this as well. There we go. It will, this graph changes with the data that you're putting in. So some really helpful tools that you can use within spreadsheets to help make charts, to predict future events, stuff like that.